I can't believe we're already at the end of 2025. It's crazy how fast the year goes, isn't it? So today I've decided to pick out 10 top favourite plants from this year. Last year I did 20, but I thought this year I would do my top 10 just to make it a little bit more meaningful and also a little bit more difficult for me to choose as well. So yeah, I've picked 10 plants. I have to say it was very, very difficult, but I did get there. And these are in no particular order, but the first one is this one. This is my Euphorbia lactea white ghost, and I had to choose this one. This one was kind of a no-brainer when it came to choosing my favourite plants for this year, because honestly this one was a really huge wish list plant. I also got this new pot for it. I've been kind of struggling to find a pot for this plant that fits the plant and also looks good, but I think this one's quite nice. It's kind of like a purple ceramic one. But yes, this was a huge wish list plant. I've been eyeing this one up for quite some time, and so yeah, I'm pretty excited about this one. So far it's doing really well. I kind of just have it under a grow light at the moment. I am kind of seeing some new growth on it, so maybe it's happy. It seems happy. I haven't had any decline in the plant or anything like that. And yeah, I'm pretty excited to see this one grow coming into 2026 too. I am wondering how much it will grow throughout the growing season, so that will be exciting. I'm definitely going to make sure this one gets plenty of light. But yeah, it was just a huge wish list plant, this one for me, so to get my hands on one was really exciting. And yeah, I had been eyeing it up for months and months, and it's a little bit more pricey than some other plants, and I wasn't quite sure whether to get it. It also kept going out of stock online, so I kind of kept missing out, and then I thought, well, maybe it's not meant to be. But yeah, I decided to get one, and I think it's really pretty. And this is the white version. This actually comes in green as well, but this is kind of like a white variegated version. You can probably see there are some bits of green in it as well. But yeah, I'm super excited to grow this one. I can't wait to see what it does. And I don't know how fast or slow it will grow. I guess that's part of the excitement, seeing what it does. I think this is a really weird and wonderful and beautiful plant. And yeah, it's just a bit different from my other plants. I'm not generally a succulent person. I do have a few succulents, but I'm not kind of crazy about succulents. But this one, I don't know, there was just something about it that really attracted me to it. And it wasn't because it's a trendy plant, because I don't really go in for trends. If I like something that's trendy, I'll get it, but I don't just buy plants for the sake of it being trendy. I just really liked it. So yeah, that one is firmly on the favourites list for this year, even though I haven't really had it that long. Another plant that's kind of unexpected this year is this Ripsalis, and I say unexpected because I didn't know I wanted this one, so I didn't actually have it on my wish list or anything like that. I didn't think that I was searching for it, but I had just happened to come across this one whilst I was out plant shopping in the garden centre, and I found this one, and I have just loved having this plant in my collection this year. I absolutely love it, and I suppose this is another kind of cactus as well, because this is a jungle cactus, but it's not like desert cactuses. It's something a bit different. It's more of a kind of a lush green look to it. So I think that's what attracts me more to this one. But I just love this one. I'm so glad I found it, and it's one of my favourite plants. It's really easy as well. I did actually repot this one this year, and it's just such an easy care plant, and it just grows so beautifully. It's also really easy to propagate from, so that's another really good thing about this plant. All you need to do is just chop a bit off, put it in water or soil, and yeah, it will grow roots. But this one hasn't had any pests, it hasn't had any problems. It really recovered from its repot just fine, and it just really gives me a lot of joy. It's not fussy about where I put it. It's just a really brilliant plant, and I absolutely love it, and it's still growing even now. I love how it grows kind of really wild and free, and you've got all bits coming off bits and tendrils everywhere. It just really is my kind of plant, and I really love it. So yeah, I had to have this one on the list. There were a few on the list that were just no-brainers, and this was one of them. I did struggle on a few to kind of choose between plants because I have so many, but this one was one of the ones that I said, yep, this one's definitely going to be on the list because I just absolutely love it. And yeah, it's definitely top of my list. Look how full it's growing there on top. It really is beautiful. And I just really love how this one looks hanging from my shelf. It really does bring me a lot of joy, and it seems pretty pest resistant. I've never seen a pest on this one, and it's certainly been next to plants that have pests. I'm not saying it will never get pests because of course any plant could get pests, but yeah, I just love it. It's so pretty and really easy, and it just ticks all the boxes for me. So if you're kind of on the fence as to whether to get this, if you see it, definitely get it. To be honest, I don't see it around very much. I haven't seen it since I bought it again in a garden centre, so it doesn't seem to come up too often. I don't think it's a particularly rare plant or anything, but maybe just it doesn't get stocked quite so much. Not really sure why, but yeah, I really love it. So Rhipsalis bolivianum, highly recommend this one. Next up is a Hoya. This is Hoya carnosa freckles, and I've just loved this Hoya since I first got it. I know it's not the most rare plant or anything, but I just really love it. It's got beautiful, shiny, thick, waxy leaves, and yeah, it has some variegation on it. You can see there it's got some lovely silvery variegation, and I really love that about this plant. And it's also a really easy grower. Of all the Hoyas that I've got, this is probably the easiest one, and it grows really fast. It's just been growing from the minute I bought it home, basically. A lot of my other Hoyas have kind of taken a little while to take off, but this one definitely hasn't. It has this really long tendril at the moment. It's really trying to climb, but I love it as a training plant. I think it's so beautiful, and yeah, I just love the way it falls from the pot, and I love the fact that it's still growing. I love the little speckles of variegation on it, and it's also really easy. I never have to worry about it. I just let it do its thing, and I know it's not going to throw a tantrum. It's just one of those plants that is a joy to grow, and it ticks all the boxes. I haven't had any pests with this one either. No problems with it, and yeah, it just keeps growing and growing. It doesn't seem fussy, and it's just a really happy plant. And yeah, you get different variegation on different leaves. Some of them you get a little bit more than others. Like, for example, you can see with those, there's quite a lot on there, and then some of the others, there's more kind of just speckles. But I really like that about this plant. It's just one that I'm super excited to grow going into 2026 to see what it does, but I think it's a really pretty plant. And yeah, if you see this one, I definitely recommend it, especially if you like really easy plants, but you're not a huge fan of the drama queens. I'm not a huge fan of the drama queens either, although I do tolerate a few in my collection. But yeah, it's just nice to have the odd one like this one that is very well behaved, and yeah, just a joy to grow. And I'm definitely, as I say, looking forward to growing this one next year. I may need to give it a repot, need to check, but yeah, that will happen in spring. But I really love this one. I think it's a beautiful Hoya, and it was definitely an easy choice for this favourites list, that's for sure. I just think it's one of my most beautiful Hoyas. Next up, we have one of my favourite philodendrons. This is Philodendron atabapoense, and this one was just a teeny tiny little plant when I started with it at the beginning of this growing season, and it's now got so big it's hard for me to fit it in the frame, but you can see there's a little stick in the back there. It's grown way above its stick, and this one's really cool because it has kind of burgundy backs of the leaves. I really love that about this plant, and I just love the long leaves on this one. It's kind of a little bit like the Spiritus Sancti, but it doesn't seem to have got the hype in the same way that that one did. But I just think it's really beautiful, and it's also really easy. I have had a few spider mites on it this autumn so far, but you know what, that's fine. It hasn't really got any damage because I've just been keeping up with wiping down the leaves. It's pretty easy to keep them under control because this plant is not hugely dense or anything like that, so I can pretty easily keep them under control. But I love long leaf plants. I was going to say philodendrons, but just plants in general, and I didn't actually used to like them, but this year I've grown to like longer leaf plants like these, and I'll definitely be looking to add more to my collection next year, possibly, although I have to admit that I am being a little bit careful about bringing new plants into my collection. Don't want to overdo it and kind of over encumber myself, so to speak, with too much work to do. But this one has just stood out all year to me as one that I have definitely got in my mental favourites list. So it was a no-brainer as well. I had to put it on this list. It's just been a real pleasure to grow, and one of the cool things about it as well is that unlike some philodendrons, it's not really heavy, so it doesn't require like a really heavy support pole. I mean, you could give it that, but it's quite a lightweight one, so a little stick will do it for now. I'll probably have to give it a taller stick at some point next year, but it's much easier to change the stick. You can just kind of slip it into the soil. You don't necessarily need to repot as well. But yeah, I love this plant, and I think maybe it's quite an underrated plant. You don't see it get talked about that much, but I really love it. I would highly recommend it. It's not generally one I see around that much, at least here in the UK anyway. It could be pretty common where you are, but I bought this one online. I had to get it from Grow Tropicals, and yeah, it was just a little itty bitty plant. I think it had 2 or 3 leaves when I bought it, and it's just grown into this beautiful plant you see here. I don't know what I'm going to do with this one next year. I may just leave it to grow as it is, or I could take a few cuttings and kind of try and fill out the pot. I'm not quite sure what I want to do yet. We'll see though. It is still growing at the moment, but it looks like that leaf there has got a little bit stuck. To be honest with you, this one doesn't suffer with stuck leaves as much as some of my other philodendrons. That's kind of the first time I've seen one stuck on this one. But yeah, I just think it's a bit of fun. And it really does stand out against my other plants too, because it has these long leaves and it's quite an elegant plant, I think. Next up, I have my variegated lipstick plant. This is the pot I have it in at the moment. It's got this kind of raised thing that raises the pot off the side. So that's what I've got it in at the moment. It's not obviously going to last forever because at some point this is going to outgrow the bottom of this. But currently I have this in my kitchen window and it really does love it there. But this one has some really stunning variegation. It has some beautiful purples in it and splashes of white and all sorts of stuff going on. But this is another plant that I didn't actually know I wanted. I happened to be doing a little bit of online plant shopping. I found this plant and as soon as I saw it I knew I had to get it. I was kind of aware of this plant, I'd seen it before, but only online, and I'd never seen it actually for sale. I'd just seen it kind of in pictures and things, but as soon as I saw it for sale I knew I had to get it, and it's definitely one of my favourite plants of this year. It grows so beautifully. It's a really easy plant. Lipstick plants in general are really easy, but I can confirm that this one is just as easy as the others. Variegation doesn't make any difference. I think you do need to give it a bit more of a higher light situation, not necessarily direct sun or anything, but I definitely give this one more light than I give my kind of non-variegated lipstick plant, and it does seem to be happy with that. It is still kind of slowly growing at the moment, even though we're going into winter now, but it's certainly slowed down, and it's just one of those plants that I'm really excited to grow. And it's already a fairly full plant. I mean, I did get a little bit of growing in with this one before we went into autumn, so I have had a little bit of time with this one to watch it grow. But at the same time, I'm also excited to go into 2026 with this one because I get to see year 2, and year 2 is always really exciting with a plant for me. year 3 is even more exciting, but year 2 is usually when they start to sort of take off a little more. The first year I have a plant, sometimes with some plants it takes a bit longer for it to settle in. It just kind of is finding its surroundings, so to speak. But my second year with the plant is usually where I start to see it take off, because it's nice and comfortable in my home, and yeah, it just starts to grow a little bit better. So I am quite excited about this one. I did have a few spider mites on this one at some point during the kind of beginning of autumn. I haven't seen any for a while. I have been keeping my eye on it, but it seems to have got through it really well, and I haven't really seen any damage. It has quite thick leaves, so presumably that gives it kind of an advantage when it comes to fighting off spider mites. But I love this one. I just think it's a really beautiful version of a lipstick plant. I love all lipstick plants, to be honest with you, even the ones that aren't variegated, but this one just, yeah, really struck me, and the minute I saw it I knew I had to get it. I just love how it has these kind of purple tinges and beautiful splashes of white and green and all sorts of stuff going on. It's not necessarily structured, so you don't know what you're going to get, and it's such a beautiful full plant too. So yeah, definitely stay tuned if you're interested to see how this one grows in my second year with it in 2026, because I'll definitely be keeping you updated on this plant. Next up we have this stunning philodendron silver sword. It's getting quite large, and yeah, it is quite a big plant, so it does take up some space. I recently put it into this disco ball planter because I thought it looked really cool in that. Because the plant kind of has a silvery bluey tinge, hence why it's called silver sword. But this is a plant that I did used to have, and unfortunately mine perished, and I kind of really missed it. It's one of those plants that I really loved, and so I decided to have another go, and hopefully this time I will do better with this one. But so far so good. It's only had, I think, one leaf in my care so far, because I haven't had it that long, but it came as quite a large plant, and I'm pretty excited to see how it grows next year. But I just love this plant. It was one of my favourites last year. I'm pretty sure it was probably on my favourites list last year, but it really is just one of my favourite plants. I absolutely love it. It does get some pests here and there, I will say. I don't know if it's just a particularly pest prone plant, but I do notice it does get pests sometimes. I wouldn't say it's a huge problem, just stay on top of it. But yeah, pests do seem to like this plant, but I try to kind of just keep it away from my other plants and just keep up with my pest control. But you know, I think it's worth it. At least for me it's worth it, because I just love this plant. I think it's beautiful and well worth the effort. It is one of those philodendrons that kind of demands a lot of space, as you can see, but if you love it, then you'll find room for it, and I do. So yeah, it is difficult to kind of nestle it in though with my other plants, but yeah, it's definitely worth it for me, just because I love this plant. And I am really happy that I added this plant back to my collection. And yeah, this was another really easy choice for my favourites of this year. I had to have it in this list because, oops, yeah, it's just a beautiful plant and I absolutely love it. I think it has everything going for it when it comes to a philodendron. I am a big philodendron fan, and this one has that beautiful kind of silvery colour to it, but also the beautiful sword-shaped leaves. And yeah, I think it's just one of those plants that will always be one of my favourites. There are some plants I kind of fall in love with for a little bit and then I fall out of love with them, but this one I've never fallen out of love with. Even when I lost my previous plant, I thought to myself, oh, I kind of miss it a bit. So yeah, it's a good sign that I still love a plant if I'm feeling like I miss it. Next up we have an alocasia. This is Alocasia platinum, and honestly this alocasia has been on my wish list for so long, so I had to have it on this list, didn't I? Again, it's another one that has kind of a silvery tone. I do really love plants that have silvery tones, but this one has the kind of dark veining too, which I really love. I think it's so beautiful. This one's actually got a little new leaf coming at the moment as well, so it's doing pretty good. Oh, it's got 2 new leaves. Yep, it's still growing, which is quite nice. And I think I can see a couple of spider mites on that one. Yeah, there's one there. That's pretty normal with alocasias. They do get spider mites. I will just give this one a wipe down afterwards. I have got a few spider mites in my collection at the moment. I have been washing my hands in between touching these plants, so I don't spread anything, but it's pretty normal this time of year to have a few spider mites around. I'm not too bothered, but I absolutely love this plant. I think it's such a beautiful alocasia, and it's definitely well worth it. It's one of those plants that it really lives up to expectations. I'd kind of just seen this one online, obviously. I'd never actually seen it in real life. Oh, actually, I think I did see it in real life. Last year, sometime I saw it, but at the time I was kind of like off alocasias. I just decided literally recently to start getting a few alocasias and to not be scared of them. They are a little bit more of a challenge, but that's okay. I'm kind of happy to have a bit of a challenge at this stage. But yeah, what I love about this one is just the beautiful silvery colour of it. It has very thick leaves as well, lovely thick chunky leaves, and I think it's a really beautiful alocasia. I also love the dragon scale. I almost picked my silver dragon as well. I kind of wanted to put that in, but I had to keep it down to 10, so I decided to go for this one instead, because this one kind of has the same vibe, but the leaves are slightly bigger on this one at the moment at least. And yeah, I just love this one. I love how kind of alien-like the leaves are. They almost look like they are from another planet, and I currently have it in this pot. I found this pot for it in Home Sense. I thought it looked quite nice, and it fits perfectly. So yeah, this was an alocasia that I had definitely been stalking online for a while before I bought it. So I was a little worried that it wouldn't survive, but it's doing so well so far. And yeah, it does have some new growth too, so it must be happy. I am just keeping it under a grow light at the moment. That's my plan, trying to keep it warm, trying to make sure that it doesn't suffer. But I think because it's a fairly established alocasia, it seems to be getting through the kind of autumn, winter okay. I mean, we're literally just going into winter now here in the UK, so it is going to start getting colder, so we'll see what happens. I'm hoping it'll be okay, but even if it does start to lose its leaves, it's kind of normal for that to happen. You know, if your alocasia loses a bunch of leaves during autumn, winter, it is fairly normal. I do what I can to keep that from happening. Like I say, I try to keep it warm, I try to give it grow light, make sure I kind of cut back on the watering appropriately as well. But sometimes even when I do all the things, it still decides to die back. So if that does happen with this plant, I shall just keep it and yeah, wait for it to grow back next year, because it will probably grow back. But so far it's looking beautiful. So yeah, let's just appreciate it as it is in this moment. And yeah, this is another one that I'm super excited to be growing in the future too. So do stay tuned if you would like to see how this one does as time goes on. Next up we have my Monstera Thai constellation, and I know everyone's got these by now and you've had them for years, but I'm kind of late to the party. I didn't really get it, but I do get it now that I have one. They are really beautiful plants. And yeah, just look at that newest leaf there, isn't it gorgeous? The variegation on this is beautiful, and yeah, I totally get it now that I have one. They are really pretty, and I finally give in. I give in to the variegated monsteras. I don't think I'm going to say that I'm going to become one of those people that kind of collects every single type of variegated monstera, certainly not. I have this one, and I do also have the Monstera Albo, and yeah, I love them both just as much. But I certainly don't think that I'll be seeking out kind of more of these types of plants, just because these days there are so many variations now with different names, different variegations and stuff, and I just don't have the space to have loads and loads of them. But I love this one, and yeah, like I say, I get it. I see what you guys see in them. They are really pretty. Even the juvenile leaves here are really beautiful. And I'm actually pretty excited to see this one grow as time goes on. I think it's going to be exciting to see how it grows. This is the pot that I've got it in at the moment. Obviously at the moment it's not requiring any support, but certainly I think this one will be in a plant chores video in 2026 because I'll need to give it a repot. I haven't actually repotted it yet, so I really love to repot this into a nice well draining soil mix, and also to give it some support because it will eventually need some support, of course, to grow. But for now it's just kind of hanging out in my kitchen. It's not currently growing. I can see there's a new leaf kind of trying to push through there, but I don't know if it's actually going to emerge until probably spring in 2026, and that's fine. At the moment it's just seems pretty happy, which I'm happy with. This is definitely one that I've been keeping an eye on for pests because it did have a few juvenile thrips on it when I bought it, and I chose to buy it anyway because it was only a few and they pretty much all had them, and this one only had a couple and it seemed okay, so I think the gamble paid off. Let's hope so. But yeah, I hope I can keep this plant happy. I've been being really careful not to overwater this plant because I've kind of, even though I haven't had this for very long, over the years I've seen a lot of people talking about them, and one of the things that people seem to talk about is that they suffer from root rot really easily. So that's something I've kind of been aware of from stuff I've kind of read or listened to over the years. So I'm definitely aware of that, and I do not want to let this one get root rot, so hopefully it'll be okay. I don't see any pests on it at the moment. I have literally just given it a clean a couple of days ago. I've just been cleaning the leaves, even though it doesn't need watering. I've just been careful to make sure that no water kind of runs down into the pot, and just regularly cleaning the leaves, that really is the best policy for keeping pests at bay, really. But yeah, super excited to see this one grow next year, so stay tuned and we'll see how many new leaves we get. Currently it has 2 fenestrated leaves and then it has 4 baby leaves. So yeah, it'll be exciting to see how this grows next year for sure. I'm super excited to see how it goes. Now I kind of had to choose which Aglaonema, or I guess I could have chosen more than one, but I kind of just wanted to choose an Aglaonema out of my Aglaonemas because I only have 10 slots. So I decided to give it to this Aglaonema Aqua Green, and even though I kind of love all my Aglaonemas equally, I couldn't choose them all, but there's just something about this one that I love. I love the kind of the silveriness again. It's the silveriness again that I absolutely love on this plant. Yeah, silvery tone plants really do win me over, so I guess it's no surprise that I picked this one. But I've always just thought this Aglaonema is really pretty, and I know that a lot of us love the kind of the brighter colour Aglaonemas, and I do too. There's just something about this one that I really love. It's so gentle on the eyes and it's got such beautiful colours and things, and even on the backs of the leaves, you know, you've got just beautiful kind of little spots here and there, and it's just a really pretty plant. I love it. So yeah, I decided this would be in the favourites list. And yeah, as with all my Aglaonemas, this one's still growing at the moment. They do tend to continue growing all year round, and that's another thing that I really love about Aglaonemas. But yeah, this one I decided to give the slot to because it's just always been one of those that I've kind of gravitated towards, and I was really excited when I found this, and I do still love this as much as I did when I first saw it. You know, some plants you get that initial little excitement boost, don't you, and then later on it kind of wears off a bit, but with this one I'm loving it, and yeah, really excited to see how big I can get it. I'd love to grow this one really big. I've never actually seen a really huge one, so we'll see what happens. I will have to wait because even though Aglaonemas are fairly steady growers, they tend to grow all year round. They're not the fastest growers, I suppose, so you do have to be patient. So we'll see where we are with this in a couple of years' time, see how much it's grown and everything. But yeah, I just love this one. I think it's beautiful. And yeah, I think it is just the silvery kind of blue tones to this one. There's something about silvery plants that I just love. I can't get enough of them. Whenever I see one, I'm instantly attracted. And next I have chosen another philodendron, and it was very hard to choose between all my beautiful philodendrons, but I had to pick the Philodendron Painted Lady because, again, this was a wishlist plant for me, and I started off with it this year fairly small, but this is how it's grown, and it's grown so beautifully for me this year. It really is one of the easiest plants going, and yeah, I'm just so excited to have this one in my collection still. It's one of those wishlist plants that I kind of had on my list for a while. I had a very small baby one before I had this one that didn't make it, and so for this one to be nice and strong and doing great is really wonderful. And this was just a little plant when I bought it. It wasn't very big, and it really has taken off this year, and I'm super excited to repot it next year in 2026 and to see it taking off even more, because yeah, I'm just excited to see this one mature. And I have 2 big plants in here plus a third smaller one, so it's going to be quite a nice full plant, and I'm looking forward to seeing these leaves. At the moment they're still quite juvenile. Looking forward to seeing them get bigger and get a bit more mature. And you can see one of the things I love about this one is the red kind of stems on it as well. I think are so beautiful, and yeah, super easy to propagate too. You can really see the nodes on this plant, but it also has, of course, that kind of paint-like variegation on it. And yeah, this is a plant that, as I said, I did have on my wish list, and it has definitely lived up to expectation. I hunted this down for ages, and as I said before, I have had a failed attempt at it, but this is definitely well worth it. This is not a difficult philodendron, it's not fussy, and it's just very hardy. I have found it to be anyway, at least. Just a really low maintenance plant to have in my collection, and yeah, I don't know why I'm so obsessed with it, but I am. I always have been. Sometimes when I get obsessed with a plant, I will just spend a while kind of stalking it online before I buy it, and I definitely did that with this one. I looked at all sorts of specimens, and I'm really glad I decided to get another one after my first little baby perished, because if I had not have got this plant, I wouldn't have this lovely plant now, and it's just starting to really take off. So again, with this one, I think 2026 is really going to be exciting, because I'll get to see it go from a kind of a medium-sized plant to a bit bigger. We'll see what we can do with it. I will have to give it a little bit more of a substantial support or something, because at the moment it just has a couple of sticks, which at this time are doing fine. You know, it's that's all it really needs at the moment, but at some point it's going to need a bit more than that. And yeah, I'm really excited to see what this one does next year. So stay tuned if you would like to see how this one grows. So those are my top 10 plants of 2025. Let me know what you thought. Were you surprised by any of them? Did you just completely predict that this is what I would pick? Let me know in the comments what you thought. And yeah, I'd also love to know what your favourite plants are this year too, from your own collection. So if you'd like to share with us, let us know in the comments, and yeah, let's have a chat about our favourite plants. Remember, it's really personal what your favourite plants are. You might hate some of the ones I picked and vice versa, so it doesn't matter. It's really personal. So yeah, I'd love to know what your kind of personal taste is and which plants in your collection kind of stood out to you this year. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Take care.